yeah, you like to slow cook? A couple hours? Not like I do. So today we are making a short rib and cooking it for 3 whole days. You know, you can cook it for 69 hours or you can cook it for 72. You pick.
Which one do you think is a better number, huh?
I would pick 69. I just like that number. Not only are we gonna cook this for an excessive amount of time, sure, it's gonna be tender and lovely and voluptuous, but how does it change? What's it gonna taste like 1 day, 2 day, 3 day? Taste each of them, and then we're gonna show you how to use it, or if it's worth it at all. So with all that being said, let's make this, shall we? You know what's funny about this? Though this is perhaps one of the longest cook times for a piece of meat, it's also one of the most hands-off. First, you're gonna need, well, short ribs, about 5 pounds of them. Ideally, you want one of these. And good lord, this isn't just a short rib. This is the rib plate, which is much more ideal for this recipe and, well, get more meat. Or you could use pre-cut if you like. Season that very generously with salt and pepper all over every little nook and cranny. Pop that bad boy into a vacuum bag, vacuum it, and carefully lower it into a sous vide water bath that's been preheated to 140 Fahrenheit, and now the clock starts. You got 72 hours. Let's pull it out at the 24-hour marker and see what we've got going on. Looks nice, it looks cooked. It's firm, but there's also some tenderness to it. Bones are starting to get exposed, but not completely. It's almost like it ain't done yet. Unfortunately, we have to pull this. Woo! We got a 24-hour short rib right here. You know, it looks and feels like a medium rare steak, which is actually pretty interesting to me. Sounds like one too. That's 24 hours of work. Wow, extraordinarily good. I can't wait for restaurants to catch on to this one. Damn. It's kind of like a cross between the center part of the ribeye, medium rare, mixed with a New York strip. It has like a density to the bite. It's bitey, but it's not like chewy at all. So it's almost like the perfect medium rare steak with the right amount of fat ratio. You ever want a steak and you want the marbling, but then you gotta deal with a little bit more chew? All right, real happy about this discovery, but let's see what 48 hours does. Now we're on the 48-hour marker. Honestly, not much more moisture loss on this one in comparison to the last, but texturally and physically, this feels different. I can tell by the way my knife fell through it, and visually, you know, it actually kind of doesn't look bad. Cut a piece off and it looks sort of like a medium rare steak, but let's taste test. All right, 48 hours. I trimmed the fat off this one, and that's why it looks a little funny. This somehow looks more medium rare than the last one. Juicy. This is totally different. It looks like it's medium rare. It's definitely cooked all the way through. I think it's more of like a cure look that you're getting from it being a sous vide. God damn. In between 2 planes of existence. Plane 1 is like prime rib. Plane 2 is like a pot roast. Prime rib pot roast. And then they have a baby, and it's this. It's got a steak-like mouthfeel, but zero chewiness, starting to pick up some tenderness that you would from a slow cook. It doesn't quite melt in your mouth, but it falls apart in your mouth. Love this, this is great. Weirdly not as excited about this as the last one. Hopefully the 72-hour one will do it for me. Onto the holy moment of short rib history. A full 3-day, 72-hour short rib emerges. There wasn't much moisture loss between the 24 and the 48, but the jump from the 48 to the 72 is massive in terms of its juicy. So for this, we're gonna handle it a bit differently. Take it out of your sous vide, leave it in the bag, and then place it on a small sheet tray that it fits nicely on. Place another equally sized sheet tray on top of that, and evenly weigh it down with something like a cast iron skillet or some heavy cans. Place it in the fridge overnight to press, and this is a very common restaurant industry technique. What this is gonna do is you'll get beautiful cuts of meat that are flat, sear beautifully, and heat evenly. Now, once this comes out of the fridge, save all that gelatinized
Beef jus.
because you're gonna use that later. Now cut that bad boy into individual long boy ribs, and before we get to cooking, let's make a very basic glaze. 1 cup of granulated sugar, half a cup of vinegar, bring that to a boil over high heat until it turns a light golden color. Then whisk in 3/4 of a cup of your beef jus, season it to taste with dark soy sauce till it's got a nice balance of salty sweet, about 3 tablespoons. And well, that's it. Feel free to add some spicy stuff like a tablespoon of non-prick pow or spicy chili crisp, and you've got a beautiful glaze. Now, let's finish this. We're not doing this with voiceover because it's real fast. Pan, 12 inches. It's pretty big, huh? Oil, medium high, let it get hot. So add that in. Oh, Jesus. We're gonna sear every side beautifully. Really, the goal is just to get color, glaze, and heat it through. You don't need to do a lot more. Give a little flip. Good Lord. Look at the crispy bits. Just render out all that fat. Look at this. Tilt the pan, just let that fat render out. Ooh. Woo-wee. The heat is off. I'm gonna strain that off and immediately glaze it nicely. Just one side, torch or a broiler, brush that lightly, okay? And you can see that glaze starting to bubble up. It's reducing on the surface of the meat. Turn that, glaze again, broil, glaze again. Every side onto the plate. And then serve this whatever you want. Potatoes, rice, vegetables. But this is how you make the meat.
Daddy's meat.
I demolished the plate for the B-roll. Sorry. I have not eaten it yet though, and I've got to say, visually, smellually, is good. A little bit of flaky salt to finish.
Damn.
That's a different vibe right there. It's hard to choose a favorite here. I would say my least favorite is the 48-hour one. That one, get on out. This is completely different than the 24. Sort of close to the 48, but a lot more tender. You end up getting that slow cooked beef. You ever have a pot roast and it's like melts in your mouth, right? You're getting that, except zero dryness. If you want the moistest slow cooked beef of your life, this is the route to go. Kind of teetering between this and the 24-hour one. You would think this is astronomically better, but it's just different. But if you do want it to fall apart, then 72 hours is the only way. It doesn't matter which one you choose because they're all unique in their own way. So choose your own adventure. But do you want to know how else you can choose your own adventure? By me showing you how to use this a couple other ways. Let's do it.
Ah yes, a 72-hour short rib. What in the shit do you do with that? It takes many forms, and we'll be showing you two versions. A beautiful taco, cheesy and delightful, and an incredible short rib sandwich, filled with your heart's delights and caramelized onions. Let's begin.
We have meat. I've reheated more of it. Got it? Just shred this. You could use it whole in a sandwich, sure. But I want it shredded. I want the fine little threads. We worked so hard on it, right? Just shred that real fine. Let the fat emulsify. Make it look good. If you don't mind, everyone leave the ring, please. I need to be alone with this bowl. So we have our meat. It's been shredded. It's fatty. It's juicy, delicious. Now we put it in something. We're starting with a simple taco. Very basic. Pan, medium heat. A little bit of the beef fat from earlier, right? We're returning to the earth by reusing instead of throwing away. See, the vegans should be happy about this. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. Vegan teachers over there like, tortilla down, get that soaked up with beef fat nicely. We're going on medium high. Gonna let that heat. Now, while that's going, take some of your Oaxaca cheese. You can also use fresh mozzarella, but it's not the same. It's really not. So try to find the Oaxaca cheese. So on one side, we're gonna add that cheese. Okay, that's sitting. Just for the sake of speed, I'm gonna melt it. You don't have to do this, but I want to. And you'll notice the tortilla is gonna get a little crisp. That's fine, okay? Relax. Fat's gonna rehydrate it. Cheese is melting, looking beautiful. Our beautiful 72-hour short rib directly on there. It's got a texture at this point similar to barbacoa. And then carefully fold and press very lightly, okay? Look at that cheese coming out. She's gonna continue to melt. It's mixing with that beautiful beef, the fat oozing. Okay, let it get crisp on that side. And once that cheese starts to come out, this is very important. Let it pool on the pan, please. You're gonna get little crispy edges of cheese and it's gonna get brown. Flipping, boom, look at this. You got the crisp cheese on the outside. Nice browning and crust on the corn tortilla. Repeat on the other side. And once that's done, heat goes off. Take it out of the pan. Boom, onto a plate. Beautiful short rib taco. You've got the cheese crust. It smells luxurious. And more importantly, a little bit charred tomatillo, serrano salsa. It's acidic, it's spicy. Got that unctuousness, but it's also very refreshing. Goes in the salsa, lovely. I hate to say this, with the mood that I'm in right now, this is appeasing to my pleasures more than that beautiful glazed one. It's something you can eat on the go, but more specifically, it's easy to make. So if you have a bunch of this left over, you just shred it, put it together, a little bit of cheese, dip it in a salsa, and you're gonna have a very beautiful time. Now let's move on to one more. Next one's gonna be a short rib sandwich. Mayo, about 1 cup, wee bit of lemon juice, 2 cloves of garlic, grated. See, the advantage of grating garlic is you get a little bit of garlic in every bite. Mix that. Wee bit of pepper, a touch of salt. Mix that all in. And it's sort of like an acidic lemon garlic pepper mayo. Wow, thanks to movie magic, beautifully caramelized onions. How'd that happen? I don't know. Medium heat, a little bit of butter in here just to coat the pan. Cutting board, beautiful loaf of bread. You'll notice that I like to slice my own bread. Josh, oh, it's an extra step. Okay, it costs you like a couple of seconds for dramatically more exciting slices. I want like a nice thick piece of bread. That's thick. Now on the inside, you're gonna go really light with this sauce. You don't need a lot of it, it's very strong. Spread that, disperse your butter. First slice down, mayo side up. So this is gonna act as an adhesive. We're gonna put just a couple slices of Swiss, okay? While that's toasting, speed this up a little bit. Okay, cheese is melted. A little bit of our caramelized onion. Spread that nicely. I want a lot. Okay, we're gonna add our beef. This is really, really, really rich, so keep it thin. You can make more sandwiches with less. You do a couple more slices of cheese, and boom. Okay, that's on there. And then to that, melt that down. We've got our top slice on. Okay, and then we give this a little flip so it toasts the other side. Woo! I mean, come on, look at this. I'm gonna let this toast for just a couple more minutes, and then we'll taste it. Oh, this is a sandwich. You know what this needs? This needs a little thing of broth. And this is a dope French dip. Swiss cheese, beef, the caramelized onion help balancing all that. Honestly, surprisingly balanced sandwich. Not too rich with all that fat. 10 out of 10, would make again. Moral of the story is it doesn't end at the 72-hour mark. You can do a million other things with it afterward. And that shows the complexity of cuisine, food, and the world around us. But you wanna know what else shows the world around us? B-roll.